Alright, cool, we're gaming. Yippee! Nope, get on the setup before that guy does. Get his ass. Yeah, I sniped the position from you that I was already set up to take. What about it? I know your ass is hyped for Strive 2. Oh, buddy, you have no idea. I didn't even watch Evo this year. I'm in my fighting games over arc again until 2XKO comes out, and then I'll be like, no, actually, I was always in my fighting games are so back era. You just didn't get it. I'm probably not gonna play in Salty EU this week just because it's starting at like 7 and we kind of have like stuff going on in the house around like 6:30, and so it kind of doesn't line up very well altogether. So this is like warming up for Salty and then deciding, much like my running experience, that it's too much effort and I'm happier just playing with my toys in the warm-up. Well, it's not that I'm happier playing with my toys in the warm-up, it's that the main event is at an inconvenient time. How's everyone doing, though? Anyone see anything from Evo that they're excited about? I saw Marvel Tokon, and I can't lie, I was so hyped on the announcement, and then I saw a little bit of gameplay, and... oh, brother. It's not looking... I'll wait for it to come out and see if I, you know, do a little bit of falling in love with that shit, but the fact that a hit takes so long in that game, there is a moment in the gameplay that they showed where they do a throw, and after that throwing like happens, there's, I want to say, about 4 to 6 seconds of cutscene, and I'm like, I can't be doing that. We can't be having another fighting game come out where so much of the time is dedicated to watching another goddamn cutscene come out. I've played enough Tekken 8 to be sick of it. My favorite English bold streamer is rage baiting. I'm not. This is the problem. I'm just not. I just can't be dealing with it anymore. I want, and to be fair, this is what 2XKO is. I want a fighting game where I press a button and the button happens and then I'm allowed to press the next button. I'm not waiting for a whole cutscene to finish before I'm like pressing the next button again. Prime example, Street Fighter 6. Watching cutscenes every single time, anytime anyone interacts with Drive Impact, you'll peep in the 1 second long cutscene, and yes, 1 second isn't very long, I will concede. It's not that much time, but spread over the course of 100 hours, and I'm blowing my goddamn head off because I've only been playing for like 98. The amount of time wasted in that artificial slowdown for each melee that you did in Doom, the Dark Ages. Doom came out and I just kind of went like, I'm good. I didn't even finish Eternal, and so it's like, well, I'm not gonna mess around with the sequel. On grog. You're not a true fighting game if you don't hate them all for months at a time. I'll give you that. I feel like there's like 6 months in a year. It's kind of like seasonal depression. It will roll around where I go, fighting games are the only good genre, the love of my life, and also I'm going to find my wife playing them, to this genre is terrible and everyone that plays them is insufferable. And right now I'm in column B. Maybe I am a contrarian, because I'm just thinking, I only ever go around to I can't stand fighting game players and the people that play them when I see other people talking about fighting games. Whenever it rolls around to like summer season and everyone's going to like Evo, and I guess it's mostly Evo that really annoys me. But when everyone's going to Evo, my brain is like, fighting games are actually terrible, and nobody is playing them for the love of the game. Which is wrong. Don't get me... I'm not saying trust your streamer because he's the one on the screen. But I am saying that maybe your streamer is so handsome and smart and beautiful. I am insufferable too. I'll give you a true for that. Roll around, surely it would be rolling back. Gun! Gun! I'm shooting you with a gun! Doom Eternal has so many buttons and cooldowns and weapons to keep a track of that it's exhausting. I don't want to say games have gotten too big, because then we run the risk of, like, going back to 2009, where every single game had, like, 2 guns, and you could sprint, and that was all you could do in terms of movement. But I do vibe with the sentiment. On grog. I also am aware of the irony of saying X game has, like, too much shit in it while playing this. You're running the XR bracket at your local on Sunday? That's pog. I'll give you that. Doing the good work. I don't think I could ever be a TO, because the moment that, like, one thing crumbles, I don't know what I would do with myself. Not in the sense of, like, oh, I would break down in tears, but I have such a poor concept of, like, moving, being able to see, like, 1 or 2 steps ahead, that I think I would become immobile. If you've ever seen me try to play chess, which you wouldn't have, I immediately, upon moving my piece, have forgotten why I moved my piece and what it, like, opens up for. I just have no concept of go forward. Someone invent teleporting already. You hate traveling to offline events. Shaking my head, shaking my damn head. This is how I know you're either a real anime player or you are real new gen. And I know that you're not new gen, so I know that you're a real anime player. Because traveling is, like, the best part of every single event, every single time. I've traveled for 4 years playing Melee. Not like, you know, I wasn't living in a fucking caravan, you know, like, I would go out of my town, out of my country and shit for Melee tournaments. And I cannot tell you basically anything about what happened in those Melee tournaments. The travel there and the travel back, though, I can tell you at least 2 things. New gen as in new to fighting games, or new gen as in young? New gen as in young. Because everyone who's old is like, I love a little bit of travel. And if you're not young, you've got a young soul. You're gonna have a great time on TikTok and in the AI generation. I have good news for you. If you got a young soul, my best piece of advice is, like, pick up the vertical tablet and your life will improve, like, not a lot, but you'll feel like it will have improved. You've got the short-term memory of a drug addict without the drugs. That's true. I actually tried to do a little experiment while I was playing Tekken 8, because we have, like, a in-friend tournament going on. And I just wanted to go into training mode and try to remember what the AI did for 2 interactions. So I would jab, have them set to a random action, and then just keep a track of what they did afterwards. I couldn't tell you more than, like, 1 interaction ahead. So if they did, let's say, like, sidestep right on the first jab, then sidestep left on the next jab, I have forgotten what happened in the previous jab. It's probably a sign that I should go to the GP and be like, hey, like, I got a couple screws loose, and right now it's kind of fine, but later in life, maybe it's a case of now I forget whether they sidestep left and sidestep right. Maybe later in life, it's a case of I can't remember my son's face. Brain fog relatable, but it's not brain fog. I can tell you brain fog on GOG, on Grok himself, but I can tell you it's more a case of there is no information to retain. Sir, you do not have a son. What do you mean? Peep this 6p. Peep this 6p again. Eno in neutral is basically just like, am I doing 6p or am I covering the low with sweep? And it's probably a bad game plan, but, like, fuck if it doesn't get the job done most of the time. I'm already getting ready for my next local by packing a sleeping bag and a tent. I mean, why would you put all the cost into that when you can just find, like, a nice abandoned building to sleep in? I remember I basically did that once for a tournament. It was a tournament in Leicester, and okay, so it wasn't an abandoned building. Like, people were living in the building. But I went into a student flat, and I just said, look, I could try to find somewhere to sleep in terms of, like, a hotel. Or, Rory, you could do me a solid and let me sleep on your kitchen floor. And I'm not saying that the kitchen floor was comfortable, but you have to weigh up the options here. It's either go to sleep in a comfy bed, or, I don't know, maybe like 100 quid, because it's, I think it was like December 30th, so the prices of everything were fucked. Or, you could take a really not unusual gamble, it's a very standard gamble, but you could take a gamble that is probably in your favor. It's a kitchen floor, it doesn't cost anything, but you've got like a 1 in 100 chance of, like, catching pneumonia. And I rolled, and I don't know if I caught pneumonia, but I can tell you I didn't have to pay for a hotel, and I lost 2 weeks worth of pay from work because I was so ill that I like couldn't stand for about 2 weeks. And I'm not sure what the floor did to me, but it fucked me up. So I think the moral of the story is, like, instead of kitchen floors, go for bushes. And if you can, try and find, like, a fox burrow, ideally. You can't hit me with the question marks when the results speak for themselves. Like, yes, I managed to roll not literally pneumonia, but also, I lost 2 weeks worth of work. Leon failed Oki for 2 weeks straight. Is my streamer washed? Is Oki in this example wake up and stream? Because I did fuck that up as well. And your streamer isn't washed. Your streamer is just... Your streamer is just mad. I don't want to be like... The internet... The woke internet is ruining the world. Because that's just, you know... That's not true. But... A type of the internet is ruining the world. Or it's ruining my world at the very least. Every single day... I, like, log into YouTube lately, and I just kind of lose it a little. I don't entirely know how to describe it. It's not like I'm a feral animal, but it is how I think, like, a dog would respond to YouTube if it just kept showing them, like, videos of cats. So, YouTube at the moment is very insistent that I want to watch, like, 1 of 3 videos, and will not show me anything that isn't old fighting games, old SSX footage, or like clips of the yard. And I know some of you are saying, this sounds like a dream algorithm, based. But for me, someone who's trying to normal max, this is a nightmare. And even, okay, it's not even because I'm trying to like normal max. I'm just sick of being fed the thing that I already like. And then, okay, after that, inevitably, I will go, wow, this is really annoying. Time to go somewhere else. I'll go to Blue Sky, and then it's 400 people talking about fighting games that I already know, and already like, and already agree with. And I'm like, well, this is annoying as well. And then I'll go over to Twitter, and Twitter's showing me something different at the very least, but like, it's also a collection of racists. And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to be here either. And then I have to sit there in my room and reconcile with the fact that either I give in to, like, an internet of hyperfixation, which I'm not going to do, or I just say, fuck it, we ball, and read a book. And so I read a book. Sounds like a dream algorithm based. It's a nightmare. I can't deal with it. I watched one video on Five Nights at Freddy's by accident. And for a week, YouTube was like, you just fucking love Five Nights at Freddy's, don't you, brother? And it's like, no! I don't want to watch Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't even know anything about Freddy. It's just insufferable. And then, when... This is almost like self-pity. But then it's like, I'll be fed like 10 videos on like a thing that I'm already like, and then I worry like, oh, is the internet full of people that are just passionless and love the algorithm? Because it's never like, okay, let's show you a thing that you already like, but it's Kino. It's like, no. Let's show you a thing that you already like, and also, it's top 10 slop. It's tier list trash. The blank of Guilty Gear, and it's like, brother, we can't keep doing this. We can't do... You gotta stop showing me content that is generated for the algorithm. But then I realize... they're not making content for the algorithm. They're making content for their soul. But the algorithm has shaped their soul. And so what their soul desires is slop. They love trash. They love to make trash. And then I'm caught in the dilemma. I'm caught in the Pandora's box of, is the content creator talentless? Which, the answer is no. But I'm caught in the trap of, should I be angry at the content creator? Or should I be angry at the machine? And I know the answer. I know the answer is I should be angry at the machine. But I'm not. And so I have an internet that is just trying to constantly feed me things that I like. And I know why they're trying to feed it to me. They're trying to feed it to me so that I can... Whoop. They're trying to feed it to me so that they can get their grubby little paws on all the ad revenue. Tasty. The fuckers. But then because they're pushing videos that do well algorithmically. People are inspired by videos that do well algorithmically, and so the soul becomes infected by the algorithm. It's not even about the algorithm anymore. It's about the soul. But then I can't get mad at the soul of a person. That's the soul of the person. And that's pure, and that's beautiful. But the algorithm's bad, and it's made by bugs. And so I don't know. And so I'm getting angry at the bugs, but then because I'm getting angry at the bugs, I'm getting angry at the people that are infected by the bugs, and nobody wins. I don't win. I come out mad. They come out poor because I haven't clicked on their video, and then their soul isn't fulfilled because they're not getting the feedback that they need to recognize that what they do brings value to the world. Because they don't, but they do, but they don't. But the algorithm makes it so that they don't. In short, I hate YouTube at the moment. YouTube algorithm sucks because it does not show me Galvan trailer at the top every single time. Why would you want an advertisement at the top? Why would you want a trailer? Why aren't you... You should be looking for a 400 view video from, like, someone who really likes rocks. And they just wanted to talk about their rocks for, like, 20 minutes. That should be at the top of your YouTube your YouTube recommended, but it's not. It's filled by 5 facts about Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't fucking want to know about five fucking facts about Five Nights at Freddy's. I want to know about one fact that you really fucking like, that you made for you and your friend. You didn't make it for me. You made it for you. But you didn't make it for you and your friend. You made it for you and your friend and the algorithm. And that's poison. Like that Oblivion dev being really passionate about the moss in the forest. See, yes, exactly. And you want to know what? I'm glad that I haven't seen that video, because that's now your joy. You got to see that video, and you got to go, look at this video. I didn't have the algorithm recommend it to me. I didn't have some fucking machine at Google go, hey, by the way, Gemini AI has decided that you'll love this video. You got to share that with me. You and me, we had to have a human connection for me to know that video exists, except we didn't, because this isn't parasocial, and you don't know me, and I don't know you, but we still shared that beautiful moment. And is that not what life's all about, to share that beautiful moment? I'm sick of the poison. I'm sick of this shit. Devil's advocate, having a rant like this while there's gameplay in the background is also a form of popular slop. I agree! I'm poisoned as well. I'm poisoned too. You look inside of my soul, you look for my soul, you'll find it. It's a bunch of little worms in my left atrium and my heart. That's my soul. And they're bugs. Because the algorithm made me a bug soul person. And it's gonna happen to you one day. You'll upload a single YouTube video and you'll go, why do I feel like I have a maggot in my left chamber? Because you do. Anyone else bugs maxing lately? Hi Leon, I was just wondering when you will live stream The Sims. Probably when I'm out of this bug algorithm rant. I have 50k views on a video on my channel, and every time I get a comment, I feel like a little worm. I feel a little worm move through my skin. That's them being happy. And I don't know... And you want to know what the worst part about it is? Your little worm in your little left atrium, not the right, it's always in the left atrium. Your little worm in the left atrium is wiggling with joy, and so you wiggle with joy. But are you really wiggling with joy? Or is that the little worm inside of you that Google put inside of you that wants you to be happy? If there was no YouTube, would Google, free of worms, still bring you joy? The answer is probably not. We're all infected by their poison. We opened our cat door yesterday and there was a rat inside of it. I understand that rats are an infestation, but you can't tell me that a mammal of that size is doing, like, significant harm. They're too... I don't want to say they're friend-shaped, because, you know, I've been on the internet enough to feel like I've won Reddit enough times that I don't have to describe it as friend-shaped. But he's a little mammal with 4 legs, 2 of them are really fat towards the back for some reason. And he's just got a little nose. You're telling me he's, like, breaking my house? You're telling me he's more of a threat to my house than the landlord? You've got me fucked up. The rats where I'm from are gigantic and mean and infected, and basically that's how I describe them. I mean, yeah, But also, have you been taken over by propaganda? Anti-rat propaganda? I don't know who's spreading the anti-rat propaganda, but likelihood is it's your landlord. Your landlord wants to be more concerned with you being concerned about rats over them taking money from your wallet. Has a rat ever taken money from your wallet? Answer the question. Answer the question, because I already know the answer. My landlord was so deeply unconcerned with the rats in my apartment. I'm from the Big Apple for context. Yeah, because he was a rat. Endearingly. Why would a rat landlord be concerned about the rats? Rat propaganda spreading like the plague. Don't say that. That's too far. How dare you? My landlord was a rat in that sense. God, I will not forgive him. See, this is the problem. The propaganda has been so effective as for you to envision your landlord as a rat. Incorrectly. Chat, I have good news. It's not that I'm about to get double perfected, although for some of you, I'm sure that's fantastic news. I passed my my theory test for driving, and so soon I will be a car cook, much like the rest of the world. Soon, both you and I, viewer, will be able to run over a child in an SUV and go, it was the car's fault. I don't know. I will say the theory test has, like, given me a complete lack of faith in other people on the road, because I know, so I passed this test with absolutely zero revision. I have absolutely no fucking idea what signs on the road are that aren't like the speed limit. You show me like a T with a cross through it, no fucking idea. So it's a theory test, right? You're going to assume that naturally it's going to contain a little bit of theory, you know? And what does theory consist of in driving? Okay, a little bit of mechanics, like how can you slow the car down without braking? That would be theory. That would be very useful theory that I think should come up in a theory test. Another one, I don't know, what does this fucking road sign mean? That would be a good one. But every single question on the theory test that wasn't two of them, I want to say, effectively went like this. Okay. There is a man on fire in front of you. You have one of four choices. Do you, A, pour gasoline on him? 2, ask him if he's okay? 3, push him to the ground to force him to stop, drop, and roll? Or 4, wait for the authorities to arrive and look and see if they're okay? The answer is 4. You sit there and you do nothing. The theory test is effectively look at these 4 questions and decide which of these are like the least action. And also, they're hardly related to driving. It was miserable. And now I'm going into a practical test, and I'm like, well, I don't even know what a fucking 4-point turn is. But for some reason, I'm allowed to go, yeah, just fucking put the L plates on and go wiggle around on the road. Do 60, who gives a shit? And for some reason, no, but you've done the theory test, and so now you're like, you're safe enough to drive so long as there's someone else in the car. Wiggle around like a worm? I'm telling you. They're in my soul, they're in my wheel. They're definitely in my wheels. Biken looks sick in this game. Do you think Biken could pass the theory test? I don't think they could. Mr. Massey, how are you today? I don't know. I think I'm fine. I'm chilling. It has been about a month since I've done a driving lesson, and I'm starting to think, like, is my driving instructor fucking me over? But also at the same time, it's not like he's like, by the way, I can't do this lesson, and also, I need like $20. Can you give it to me? You know who is doing that? My fucking landlord. And you're telling me that the rat is more scary than the landlord. Landlord just be asking for shit. Oh God. Chat, what do you want to be when you grow up? This is actually a trick question, because if you answer, Keir Starmer will go, boop, you need to be 18 in order to view this stream. Do you have ID? 13-year-old child? You've just said you wanted to be something when you grow up. That means you haven't grown up. Hmm? There is a man on fire on the side of the road. Do you bait his burst? That's a good one. There's not a lot of video game reference that is good, but that's pretty good. I come from the era where, like, everyone was saying Oddshot that and thought they were a comedian, including myself, even though I wasn't on stream because you know, living in England at the time, we had, like, sticks and stones to stream with. We were getting, like, news about the, the Melee local through, like, pigeon carrier. It's crazy to think, like, where life would be if you didn't have, like, this one thing that took up not even, like, an hour of your day, just, like, 3 hours of your week. Like, if I wasn't playing Guilty Gear right now, and then I didn't spend all of my time when I was younger playing Melee, I wonder where I could be. I could be, like, a slightly more accomplished McDonald's manager. Okay, maybe I actually like Guilty Gear. Maybe I do. Maybe Guilty Gear and Melee were good for me, who knows. I want to have a job that doesn't pay well and doesn't make me want to do a backflip off of the Brooklyn Bridge. You can only have one or two. One or the other, rather. I did have a conversation with a mate the other day, and they're, like, university graduated, and they were talking about how, you know, it's going to be crazy, because soon 6 figures is going to be the standard salary. And I'm like, brother, what the fuck kind of job do you think most people have? It is crazy how, like, perspective can skew what you assume to be, like, a standard price for things. Where are they from? I want to say that they're from one of the Nordic countries. But they were, okay, one of the Nordic countries, but they were talking about prices as if it was pounds. And so, I'm assuming 6 figures in GBP. But it is crazy to think, if I went to, like, a shop that was like, yeah, £2 for every single banana, eventually my brain would skew to be like, yeah, £2 for a banana. That sounds about right. 6 figures will be a livable standard, but not a normal payout, methinks. I don't think it's going to be a standard anywhere for a long, long, long time. Like, if that... You gotta remember, right now, the average income on an English household... No, English salary in England for an individual, rather, is, I think, 36 grand. But if I remember correctly, that's, like, not the... There's the average, and then there's, like, the mean, and there are different ways of, like, getting to different middle points. But, like, the standard middle point of income is, like, 28 grand. And so, I don't know where they were getting 6 figures from. Implying that jobs get easier in the future? That's a good point. That's a good point. It's crazy to think that, like, we're probably going to reach a point in which... And I'm not saying that I like this, but I'm saying that it is probably what's going to happen. We're probably going to reach a point where AI completely reforms IT labor, if not already. And yet, I would imagine that most of the people that are going to, like, suffer from it probably aren't going to get put into jobs that actually... What am I trying to say here? We're going to have a huge depreciation in the job market, and yet, like, benefit schemes are still going to be, like, looked down on, or, like, universal basic income, for example, is still going to be like a, nah, let's not do that kind of approach in the UK at the very least. UK has reformed labor and is destroying the job market. You know what, I'll give you a true for that. I don't have the evidence to back it up here and now, but I can kind of feel it. I have no idea what the average income here is, but I've accepted that I'm getting minimum or slightly above minimum wage. I fuck with that. I fuck with that idea. Not in like a sad, we're all fucked kind of way, but more in like a, instead of shooting for the stars, just kind of being like, okay, this is what we got, how can we make it so that life doesn't suck, you know? Yeah, exactly, I'm not miserable about it. Oh god. That's what Perfect Days was saying. Except it wasn't, because that's not how Perfect Days works as a film. Something. I think I've gone on the same rant about Perfect Days like 4 times. You know, we're headed into the end times low-key. Well, that I do disagree with entirely. I think that, like, it's easy to, in the moment, to constantly, like, panic that, like, you know, the world is, like, a year away from ending. But... okay, let's assume that suddenly 50% of the planet does just randomly die off. Let's call that the end times. You still have 50% of people still around, and they're still going to be, like, kicking around for, what, like 30 years at a minimum? Even in this end time scenario in which 30% of the people just go kapoof, you've still got at least 3 billion people going, does anyone want to fucking buy my sticks and stones? I'm not saying don't be pessimistic, but I am saying, you know, maybe it's chilling, man. It's okay, man. It's fine, man. Fear-mongering is a bit overplayed, but I feel like it's warranted to a degree with what's going on. I mean, okay, yeah, okay, because this is a mental trap that I've been in lately as well, where I'll go to sleep at night and I'm like, fucking, I don't know what world I'm gonna be waking up to tomorrow. But even in, like, World War II, there would have been people going, like, you know, there's people panicking about the war, don't get me wrong, but people also would have been like, not only is the war going on, but my favorite football team just lost. Fuck, that sucks. Because you, right now, you're going, fuck, the world's fucked, the world's fucked, the world's fucked. That read was sick, the world's fucked, the world's fucked. Like, chances are, even if you do believe that the world is fucked, you're gonna wake up in 2 years' time and be thinking, the world's fucked, the world's fucked. But god, that read was still sick. Maybe not that read specifically that you just seen, but a read in the future. Dubai, Labubu Dubai chocolate is a sign of the end times. You know what? I'll give you that. You've made me come back around. Chat, somebody cut my head off. Somebody exit me from this endless misery. The world's fucked, but I got a sick-ass bicycle. Exactly. There is, like, I don't want to be like fucking, and the world's happiness increased when somebody stole my bike and shit, but there's, you know, there's good times to come out of bad times. I don't know what those good times are. I'm not saying that, like, oh, those good times are next week, by the way. I am just saying, like, you know, keep your head up, that kind of shit. The world may be fucked up in specific ways, but I have my friends and we got hot pot this weekend. Exactly, on God. People are too damn good at this game, man. I see why people play Street Fighter, even if they're like, I can't be playing this piece of trash. There is a certain comfort to just being like, I know that the person that I match up with is probably kind of dog shit, because we're both kind of dog shit. Maybe I'm not learning how to play the game maxing anymore. Maybe in 6 months' time I'll come back around, though, and I'll be like, I'm learning the game maxing. It sounds corny, but the world's fucked, but at least I got blank was you booting up this stream. Exactly. And for someone else, it is Dubai Labubu chocolate, whatever the fuck. Although I will say, your soul is purer than the people that are pogging their goddamn mind out for Dubai chocolate Labubu. I almost get, like, more mad at the people that, like, engage with kind of TikTok trend hyper-consumerism more than the people that are making it. But then again, I shouldn't be. This comes back to the worm in your soul bit. Like, I shouldn't be mad, but I am mad. I'm mad at the people when I should be mad at the system, but the system is making the people. And so who's really to blame? The answer is the system, but my brain just can't get around to it. Holy shit, I've seen the ping. You gotta stop pressing the buttons so much. You gotta stop, like, focusing on the numbers so much. I don't want to say that we need to return to times past. I'm not saying that. But as gamers, maybe, just maybe, we need to all kind of chill out about, like, the ping's so bad, the ping's so bad. Maybe it's a case of we're finally moving past a generation that was playing Gary's mod in, like, 2008. But I remember when I'd load up Team Fortress, I'd go on a server browser because there was no matchmaking, and I'd go 200 ping, don't know what that means, and I'd roll around as a heavy and I'd have a fucking great time. But here I am now having to be like, I wonder if my opponent is using Wi-Fi. Like, I don't fucking care, let me play with my toys, and let them play with theirs. Don't focus on the numbers, chads, when they boot up 50 frame rollback and then impact. Exactly. They're living their best life. They're living a soul that's pure. They aren't looking at the numbers. They're going, well, can this bring me joy? I will say, I did kind of get caught in my own, like, I'm guilty of the same thing, and not in, like, a macro sense. I mean, like, today. I was on Amazon Prime Video today. I was looking at, like, films to watch. I can't remember what it was called. But I didn't know what it was. It didn't have any reviews. And so instead of using my own curiosity to go like, I wonder what this is, let's just go and watch it and find out. I immediately went, I must Google and find out if this has more than 4 stars on IMDb. And it's like, brother, just fucking watch the toys. Are we all dumb? And then I sat there and I thought to myself, I'm the dumb one. Because I'm the one who made myself look at other people's assumption on, like, this toy is good, this toy is bad. Just find out. A frantically teleporting Guile in Super Turbo does bring me joy to play against. It does for a little bit, though. This is the thing. You're putting Kappa at the end of it, like it's like, surely. But for, I don't know, maybe a minute, you get to like gawk at your opponent's connection and go, how does it end up being this bad? You get to play a little mind game where you get to envision their life for a second, and that's beautiful. It's a practice of empathy if you really think about it. I mean, it looks playable, but I look down at it instinctively. I'll be honest, when I'm streaming, I kind of forget that the game is there until I'm like, oh fuck, I don't think chat has anything to say. I guess I'm like stalling for time and trying to figure out what I want to spew out of my front butthole next. Like right now I'm thinking what comes out of the front butthole next. The problem is, I've surrounded myself with fighting game people. Not that that's a problem. But I've surrounded myself with fighting game people, and I actively, like, refuse to watch EVO and keep up with trailers and also pay attention to what's coming out. Let's Players, before streaming, took off are built different for that reason. That's just not true. I think Let's Playing is substantially easier than streaming. And this was as someone who on a second channel a long time ago, and I mean like when I was like 18, did that. And so I strongly disagree. Because with a Let's Play, you boot up, and like if you go like, I'm not feeling it today, you just turn it back off. With streaming, if like 40 minutes in you decide, actually I'm really not feeling it, you have to commit to at least like another half hour. Because otherwise you're not streaming. You're just like, you're playing with your toys. Which I guess that is kind of what streaming is in one sense. Man has discovered that hobbies don't have to be jobs. You want to know what I think would make EVO, like, much better? If there was just, like, a lot more degeneracy. I'll never forget, like, all of my favorite tournaments that I've ever been to or ever heard about. Or, like, even the tournaments that I've been to after hearing about them. It's always when you, like, hear that, like, degenerate shit has happened. Less Chipotle. Infinitely less Chipotle. But, like, I guess they have to make their bag somehow. What do I mean? For example, Air 5. Greatest tournament of all time. Air 5 is a fucking amazing tournament. I have dirt on a player who is currently playing Guilty Gear. Well, I guess they're not currently playing Guilty Gear. I haven't seen them for a while. But I have dirt on someone who is playing Guilty Gear Strive from that tournament that I will never release. Because one, it's harmless for everyone else, but it could be very harmful to their career prospects. And I think that's incredibly funny. But you would go out and you would just like, you'd hear about like stories about what happened to the club while you were away. And then you get like incredible little like nuggets of like El Jefe. El Jefe, I think, was a Norwegian player who, this was their first Smash tournament abroad. And they decided, yeah, let's get fucking crunk out of our mind. They got so drunk that they woke up covered in their own diarrhea in a bathroom that wasn't their own bathroom, naked, and had to walk back to their room. And that little adventure was caught in like a twitlonger. And so a week after everyone at the event had this like beautiful, amazing experience, they also got this like incredible little gem of someone's own little Legend of Zelda adventure. And you don't get that at EVO. Other than, like, you know, maybe at gambling. But I don't think gambling stories are... And maybe this is wrong, because I was thinking the other day, I was like, oh, I should tell the fucking story of when I made 250 quid in one hand. But I don't think gambling stories are for anyone who isn't, like, themselves. Like, if you weren't the person who made $1,000 that night, I don't really want to hear your gambling story. You're saying that EVO is too clean? I'm saying that people don't talk about the filth enough. Because I would... Dude, if EVO is, like, rotten to the core, I want to know about it. I want to know about the filth. But because they want They want this clean presentation, and that's fine. That's fine as an event idea. If you want to have nice professional World Cup of fighting games vibe, that's great. But I need to hear about the slop. I need to know about the trash. The shit that happens in the hotel rooms that nobody really wants to talk about, but they do want to talk about. You know? What happened in Vegas stays in Vegas? Maybe they should take it out, though. Nobody can afford to live in Vegas, if I watched that one Atriog video correctly. And I need to make a distinction, a very important distinction. I'm not saying that Evo needs to get filthier Mr. Wizard style. I mean it needs to get filthier El Jefe style, where it's just little pockets of degeneracy that doesn't harm anyone. That's what needs to change. And I need to hear about it. Degeneracy is going to be replaced with sports betting apps for fighting games in a couple of years. If I'm being completely honest, I'm honestly shocked that it hasn't already. Because, like, if you look at the economics of traditional sports, it comes from, like, one of two places. It comes from fans who live in the local area that go to the event stadium, and then they buy food and they buy tickets, and so you generate value that way. Or it comes from betting. And obviously, when it comes to esports, it's an esport. You don't really have local fans. And so, where else does the money come from? And the answer for a long time has been crypto, you know? And now, crypto collapsed a long time ago, and so, like, kind of money wasn't there. And so it kind of needs to come from somewhere else. And the answer to that is probably sports betting. I'm sure there's filth around Evo, but most of the time it's the clean corpo Evo. I mean, I'm going to Evo France in October, and so maybe there will be like filth and crud and butt over there. And then I'll come back and I'll be like, you'll never believe what the Italian players were doing. All I know is that people are getting way too comfortable throwing shit at players at Evo. Yeah, that's fucking annoying. That's not fun. That's just stupid. Like, the dirt shouldn't be like, oh, I got really parasocial with this streamer, and so I started throwing things at them on stage. It's like, no, like, it should be like, me and the boys went drinking, crazy shit ensued. And this is coming from someone who doesn't even like drinking anymore. Like, I've put down the cup. Obama Tales kind of shit that you mean? Yeah, kind of. Stuff like that. Just like, yeah, actually, Obama Tales exactly. Because it's like, I need more of the stuff that kind of becomes, like, local legend. That was the shit that's always been, like, interesting about internet communities to me. Not, like, who's the best. I don't give a shit if fucking Goichi is crazy. I give a shit if, like, Goichi got absolutely slaughtered and had to, like, sleep in a bin. That's what I want to know. We done so? Fair enough. I think I'm going to call it there, to be fair. I think we are donezo for now. I might come back later in the week. Not 100% sure. But I will be around, hopefully. Alright, we disappear. Bye-bye now.